SpudAdi, you spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. What did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to SpudAdi, the random, irrelevant, and irrelevant podcast. My name's Addy, and this is Spud.
Hello.
And we are here to rock your world for the next 60 minutes or so, talking about the whole number of things from the world of gaming, from the world of news, from the world of random, from the world of science, from the world of philosophy, and from the world of whatever we want to talk about. We did a toin flip earlier. A toin flip. Yes. Toin flip.
Hey, wise guy.
See, that's what happens when you try and toss a coin, but then you think, no, I'm going to shorten this sentence because people want to get to the point. People want to find out what the real deal is. People want to find out the real content. So you take a phrase like toss a coin and you turn it into toin.
And therefore, because you've explained it, it's made it so much longer than it needed to be.
But next week, I'll just say toin a coin. I'll just say we toin, and everyone will know what it means and we'll be able to get to it quicker.
Toin. And then they'll tell their friend next to them, going, oh, what it is, yeah, right.
Yeah, like little abbreviation words like, tell you what annoys me, Scrabble, yeah? You know when you're playing Scrabble and then like words that you use all the time aren't words, mainly because they're abbreviations, like yeah. I apostrophe M. You know, that's a word, isn't it? You know, I'm going to the shop. I'm going for a poo. I'm eating a chocolate. But no, Scrabble says it's not a word. And okay, I use okay all the time. Would you like some chocolate? Okay. Did you go for a poo? Was it all right? Yes, it was okay. You know, all that kind of stuff. And then Scrabble says it's not a word. It's like, yes, it's a freaking word. BBC says it's not a word. I've been losing quite a lot of Scrabble lately. Okay.
I can tell. And obviously going for a poo, getting a chocolate bar and going to the shops is also on your mind. So,
well, they're regular functions. I guess anyone was interested. Right. Anyway, you won the toin. So
Go. Oh. Okay. So not really news. I'm going to start with a topic, a discussion with you.
Okay.
So I've recently started playing a little mobile game called Crossy Roads. Have you played Crossy Roads?
Crossy Roads.
Crossy Roads.
I have not played Crossy Roads. Does it involve getting to the other side?
It does. It's very much like Frogger. Remember Frogger?
Frogger! Oh.
It's blatantly Frogger, but they've added loads of different characters, and the more you progress on it and the more points you get, you can unlock different characters. And it's really cool just, you know, if you're waiting somewhere for an appointment or, you know, you just sit down and wait for something or a lunch break at work and you just, spend 5 minutes on Crossy Roads. Anyway, and it's a free to download game on iPad, Android, etc. Yeah. And this got me thinking about free to play games or freemium, where it's like there is a hidden cost in it.
Yes.
And I just wanted to discuss with you, what do you think is the perfect model for this? Because I'm very much against it with full price games. I think it's ridiculous. So things that spring to mind is Dead Space 3, which was buy a really good gun and you could get past the zombie monsters easier and stuff like that. And it was like, really? I've just bought the game and you're making me buy a gun. And that's why everyone hates EA. But things like mainly more and more free to download games. So you got Hearthstone. I think that's a great model because you can get through it quite easily without buying cards. But then you obviously
How you doing?
Well, no, I bought loads of cards and I'm also crap, like terribly crap. So, but you could essentially just do the quests and get a couple of packs of cards and stuff like that. You don't have to. There's nothing stopping you doing that. And Crossy Roads, it's got this really cool thing that if you watch an ad, then you get free coinage to use once you've used up all your lives, opposed to Candy Crush, where it was like, okay, now we're making it impossible. Now you have to buy something. And if you don't, you just lose your lives one after the other and that's it. But in this one, you just watch a quick ad for like 30 seconds or something and you get, that's the coin. So I think that's right. I mean, you're just wasting time there. Well, but what's your perfect?
I think that there's a few things at work is the issue. And it is like, because also you hear these horror stories about either, a kid gets onto the iPad and spends ridiculous amounts of money and, we can blame the parents and all that kind of stuff. But you even get adults who end up spending huge amounts on a game. And I did it with Simpsons Tapped Out. For those of you interested, I made a Simpsons Tapped Out video series. And I ended up spending a lot of money on that game, like a lot more than I would spend on a normal game, because I was a little bit addicted to it, and I guess mainly because I was actually making videos on it, and I wanted to kind of have the kind of content. But there seems to be this weird discrepancy that free games don't just cost money; they often cost more money than a usual game. Like if I'd got Simpsons tapped out, liked it, enjoyed it, and then ended up spending about £40 on it, the same as that I might get on, the latest Call of Duty, the latest BioShock, whatever, then I would say fine. I would say fine, because it's like, it's just another way of paying for the game. It's a bit like a demo, it's getting you playing the game, and I would say fine. But you go into a lot of these games, and it kind of, whatever their currency is, whether it's like crystals or dollars or whatever, you go in, and there tends to be like little packages. The ones I mean, like on Boom Beach and stuff, and you get the lowest ones, which is like, you can spend £2, you can spend £5, and then the highest one is always something ridiculous like £70, and it's like, what? I'm sorry, what? There's a £70 option?
£70. At that point, I'd throw my tablet against the wall and then realise what I've done. I went, my tablet. But yeah, £70 is ridiculous. I know what you mean.
But it's because you can spend that much money on the games and still not have everything and have to do that several times. But I was trying to obviously I do Doctor Who Legacy streams on Thursday, cheap plug for myself, and the creators of the game come on, and the lady behind that is Susan, and she's actually been, she's really into this kind of free-to-play thing, and she's actually done lectures on why it's unethical or what it works. But she says from the games developer side, the problem is these days, especially on apps, not necessarily on console games and PC games, KB games, but on apps. If your app isn't free at the point of download, you're basically dooming your app before you start. Like, basically, you have to kind of be made by Amazon, and be on the front page of the Apple Store if you're not free. Otherwise, you haven't got a hope. And so you've got this weird thing where you're making a free game, but you've still got to find ways of making your money. And the Doctor Who Legacy team initially tried it by just saying it's a free game, but you can have all the content, but you can pay to kind of speed things up, a little bit like the Hearthstone model. But then they've had problems that they're not quite making enough, and so they've had to introduce adverts, and they've had problems, and so they've now introduced, not problems is the wrong word, but they've now finally gone down the route of level packs. So huge amounts of the game are free, but if you want this next level pack, which I think is completely fair and a good way of doing it, for me it's about having fair pricing, and it's about knowing exactly what you're getting. And one of the things I don't like about Hearthstone is the fact that you're getting packs, but you don't know what you're getting in those packs. It's not like buy this and you're going to get Ragnaros. I mean, you could spend a huge amount of money and never get Ragnaros. I think the BlackRock stuff and the single player adventures are a bit kind of fairer. I think where games are unfair is either when it's ridiculously expensive, way more expensive for everything, or you're paying for something, you're paying for a chance of getting something, and that kind of stuff I think is just money grabbing.
Yeah, I think if with Hearthstone, I'm at a point where there isn't that many cards I need, and I don't need to buy any more packs. And I've spent about the price of a full priced game. Yeah. 30 to £40 I've probably spent on that game, and I'm happy with that game because that game is still, I'm still playing it and I'm enjoying it.
And if even though playing it, then sure, let's spend more than £40, but let's not do it in one go.
Even though I'm so terribly bad at it that it shames me, but I still, privately, when people aren't randomly streaming my game, thanks by the way.
I streamed Spud losing it Arena the other day. He was happy.
Really badly losing as well. You son of a... Anyway, but if you get to a point where you've spent that much and it's like, then you get further in the game and it still wants more money, then I completely agree. But yeah, funny you mentioned Doctor Who Legacy. That's another one. Even though I've stopped playing that now, I still did think that was a good model, and it was a fair model. I didn't, because they gave you so much freebies as well, that when you did buy something, you didn't feel like, well, I got those 3 doctors and something else absolutely free. I'm not going to complain about doing this, get a couple of time crystals. But things like, definitely, my worst thing is, because you kind of come to expect it with the free downloadable games, but when a full priced game from, any premium game, Dead Space 3, I'm picking that one because that was like one of the biggest outrages and stuff like that. When that charges you more money after you spent that much money. And DLC is a little bit different if it's more story content, but if it's something like you should just get in the game, that makes me want to pull my legs off.
Battlefield's got that one where because lots of things have these Game of the Year editions now, so you buy the game and then you buy the Game of the Year edition, and then you're kind of buying the DLC in advance. And okay, buying DLC in advance, I can live with that. And it's the way of the games company getting their money back. But there's 2 things that annoy me in Battlefield, and one is the fact that if you're a premium member, you get onto the queues for the servers quicker.
Yeah.
So they're basically creating two tiers of people: the people that have bought the game twice and the people that haven't, and that's cheeky because that's not extra content. That's just paying to be like advanced. But you mentioned it in the beginning is DLC that's released with the game that basically breaks their own game because they must. I'm assuming they beta test because my brother's a beta tester, but they must balance these games for not the DLC. They must so take a game like Fallout. They balance the game for all of the stuff that's in the game already, but then they release some DLC that kind of goes, oh, here, the beginning of the game, look, you've just found a laser rifle. There you go. And as far, obviously, I like things to be quite hard, not too hard. You've heard my rants and people
Rage quit, Addy.
We're just getting easily booed there by Henry. So I'm going to turn that. Sorry, I've coded some abilities for people to create boo type effects, which I'm now going to turn off during this. Sorry, I was going to say they give you DLC that basically makes the games too easy.
I've had that. The Evil Within had that, but that was free DLC, so I didn't have to pay for that. That was if you pre-ordered the game, which again is another buy the game kind of thing. Sexually dancing or buy the game, come and get the game. And I think I got a double barrel shotgun very first level. So all those low level villains, or not villains, but monsters and stuff were like nothing to me with my double pump action shotgun thing. But I get that as well. But I think game difficulty is in recent years has turned, where in the old days it used to be when you played your Mega Man and your Super Marios, it used to be very much you start off easy and then you're literally again biting the skin off your arm in frustration because you can't do the later levels. And now, especially with Fallout, I had this the most. You start off and it's like, oh, you're running around with your little rusty pistol trying to shoot a Deathclaw. Oh my god! And then later in the game, you're just like there's a whole family of Deathclaws run up to you and you just go smash. They all just turn to ash in front of you and you're like, God, walking around, this is my land. Nothing can destroy me. But anyway, we're straying from the subject.
I think DLC, I think it's a difficult minefield because the games companies have to make money. But at the same time, if it's at the expense of breaking their games or fleecing the users, I think it's tricky. But economics would say, if people are willing to buy it, because I teach a little bit of economics in school, and at the end of the day, the companies wouldn't charge that or do that if people didn't buy it, and people do buy it. Therefore, that's how they do it.
And that's I've read so many articles about publishers, big time game journalists saying, vote with your wallet. I mean, everyone keeps saying we hate this, but then a million people go down and they make millions and millions of pounds and dollars and etc. And then they're obviously not going to go, no, we don't like this money. No, we don't want it. You take it back. They're not going to do that. They're a business at the end of the day. That's it. But
this is why I think companies like EA get such bad reputations, is because they put out pretty good games, or certainly addictive games, but they're not afraid to do things that just make money and work.
Yeah, money grab. Right, Addy.
My go. Right. Well, my things today are going to have a bit of a common theme because I got a new graphics card delivered today. I've finally just got it installed because it came in quite late, and so my things have all got vague links to the delivery of said graphics card. The first thing I want to talk about is deliveries. I saw something today that I've never ever seen before. This is the first delivery I've got for about 4 months or so. One of those ones where it's like you've got to stay in to receive it type thing. And you can pay extra to have it like before 12 or after 12, that kind of stuff. I just went for the fine. I'll be around all day. And this is new to me. It might not be new to you. You can go onto the website in the morning and they have that normal thing that says like track your package. And I've done that before. Track your package. And normally the track your package thing is just like, oh yeah, it's in the depot and now it's out for delivery. And that's all you get. But this one was amazing. It told you the name of your driver. My driver was called Mo. Oh. It told you what number delivery you were. It told you what number delivery that Mo was currently on. And it loaded up a little map and it showed you exactly where Mo was. And so you could actually track Mo's progress. A bit like one of those Santa websites. You do at Christmas when you show your kids and it's kind of like, oh, Santa's in Paris. I think I could actually watch Mo travel. So I spent basically half the day doing little chores, little jobs and watching Mo travel around Watford. It was amazing. And it was scary because, when it kind of got towards my delivery time, I was like, I'm going to see it, is this rubbish? Is this one of those things that's just kind of counting down automatically? And it got to my thing, the delivery before mine, And I thought, right, so apparently he should be here right now. And I kid you not, I looked through the front curtain and the DPD van drove past, and I was like, wow. I actually opened the door before he came there. And I almost wanted to kind of say, hey, Mo, how you doing?
Freak him out.
I feel like we bonded, because I know where he's been. How was Abbott? How was, over there, man?
Did you use the timer to time it perfectly? So when he got to the front door, you were in ladies' underwear waiting for him. Hi, Mo.
No, I didn't, because I wanted to back.
I see from your profile on the email that you're a Virgo and you like late dinners. Did you do anything like that to freak him out?
But seriously, how cool is that? Because when you got to stay in all day, it can be a real pain in the butt. But we're using that. I can look at that thing and I can go straight to that and I can go, actually, no, he's not going to be here for another 2 hours with no guilt at all, no risk at all. I can go out and I can do loads of things. I can pop to the shops. I can go this. I can go out on a day trip because I can see exactly how close he is. I think it's just really, really good. And, quite often delivery companies get stick because, they don't deliver the parcels right or they get given to the wrong neighbor, yada, 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 yada. So, DPD or delivery companies, I thought it was fantastic. Thank you so much for putting that in. I think that's going to be so useful for lots and lots of people.
Well, I haven't even heard of that. I've heard of adverts saying, like, as sales points on the TV and stuff, like, and when you order, we'll email you 15 minutes before delivery so you know when it's going to be there. Yeah. But I've never heard you can find exactly where we are. I've never heard that. They should post that.
Mo.
You could follow Mo.
But it must be new because I've never seen it before. Because you're right. I think because they were moving towards it. Like they sent you a text saying this is your hour delivery window or something like that. But so I kid you not, I could actually watch his little thing move around.
Pardon?
His little thing move around. Here's a scary one for you. Okay, I've deliberately missed out numbers so far. This is one guy in his van going around North Watford, Abbots Langley, that kind of area. What number delivery of the day do you think I was? I was quite late in the day.
How many deliveries?
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a postman.
Yeah,
so it's kind of cheating.
Well, this is a guy in a van. So,
okay, so he's got a van. Let's say quite a big 100.
Very good, very good. I was number 113.
Ah, oh, that was good. But yeah, I know.
Crazy, man, crazy. I never even remotely thought it would be that high. But
without a van. Because obviously, as you know, Spud is the man with many jobs through his life.
He's also the man with a van.
I had to do a very long, high street, very long. The listeners probably don't know the area, so I'm not going to mention it. But yeah, it was ridiculously long. All the houses, and then it got to a business area at the end, and that was double the amount of the road, obviously, because they had loads of packages, and I had to do it on my own. And they drop it off half points, so you get to a house, and then that house has got your next delivery bag ready, and they weighed tons. So they had a van. I thought it'd be higher than that, but they push workers, man. Those suits, those faceless managers, man, they just push people.
Well,
man.
I was
fight the power.
He delivered about 3 o'clock, so my guess is he must have had about 200 for the day. And it was good. It was really good. I thought I'd share that story because I thought that was quite new and exciting and a nice example of technology.
Did you really greet him with his name? To try and freak him out that way, at least?
No, I didn't. I mean, he must know that people know it. But I wanted to be like, Mo!
What's up, Mo?
I've been, or even like, I've been expecting you.
I've made you a snack, but I can tell you're allergic to dairy, so there's no dairy in it. Here you go.
So how did you? Hemel Hempstead. Yeah, that was cool. Right, you'll go.
Right, my go. Okay, so computer game violence. Dun. It's in the news again.
It's a bit dramatic. This isn't Mario, is it?
No. Anyway, so a new report has come out from, this is an American story that got picked up in Britain as well. The APA, and no, that's not the awesome tag team from the 2000s that had such amazing moves as shoulder blocks and back elbow. Yep. No, it's the American Psychiatrists Association, and they've done a new study which tells you literally nothing new, but it was all over the news again. Are your kids being poisoned with this horrible computer game disease? And the study said that people who play violent video games are less to be, they have less empathy and stuff like that. And in the small print of the report, right down the bottom, way from the headline that said violent games make people violent, it said at the very bottom of the report, tucked away, I had to read the report twice to see this, that it was actually people who were young and their brains were still developing. So, you're talking about your 8, 9, 10s and leading into your teenage years. Those people, because their brains are still forming, they could have this effect, not people. So the pro gamer response was, yeah, we know. That's why they're not for kids. That's why they have those age certificates on them. And that was their response. And I thought that was brilliant. So again, it's the whole subject of, do games make people violent? And I think later on another group come out with also going, as they showed a little chart saying computer games, as they've gotten more and more and more popular and more millions and millions of people play them. And obviously, as we all know, despite what the news like to tell us, the world is getting better slowly but surely, and violence is going down throughout the world. It's blatantly the modern age rock and roll. It's like, back in the 60s, this would be like, if your daughter watches rock and roll, she's Satan and she's going to go and stab a baby in the head or something. What's your thoughts on computer game violence, Eddie?
I think it's tricky because on one side, the argument that, these games have got 18 certificates and therefore they shouldn't be played by kids is completely valid and sounds very straightforward, black and white. Oh, well, this game is a violent game and it's not for kids, therefore kids shouldn't play it. Fine. But in reality, obviously being a teacher, I know that kids play these games. They're the vast majority of them either have bought them themselves or got their parents to buy them, or their parents don't know what they're doing, or their parents don't care, or whatever way, or even let's be defensive. Let's be nice to the parents here. Maybe their parents just don't really understand what's going on, because although there's more and more gamers around, especially adult gamers, it is still a young person's thing, and the parents might not really know, kind of what's going on. And the same kind of goes with movies. Most the amount of kids that I teach that have seen things like Human Centipede and stuff, it's just crazy. So on one side you can say, well, it's not the computer game company's fault if this happens. But on the other side, these kids end up playing it in most situations. So you could then have to throw it back and kind of, the other question, okay, let me ask a question for you then. Like, do these games have to be that violent? Like, if you took a game like Grand Theft Auto and you toned down the violence and toned down the gore and kept it an action game or something like that, but you toned down the violence, and especially turned down the things where you have to beat up defenseless people and the bits of those games that are just really violent. If you took those bits out, you're not harming that game in any way. That is still a great open world shooter. You could really improve that.
Yeah, I completely agree to an extent. But again, me and you both being as old as we are, we've gone through, the whole history of modern computer games from when, where there were just pixels. And there was a period in the mid-90s where games were coming out and they were just violence for violence sakes. So you had Carmageddon, you had Manhunt.
Yeah.
And you had, it was like, and everything was trying to do it.
They pushed the boundary, yeah.
Yeah, it was straight after 3D platformers kind of that saturated the market, like with Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. When that went away, it was just like blood and guts and follow someone, you could stab them right in the penis, and it was like, whoa.
Well, remember the old Mortal Kombat fatalities,
It was just violence for violence sake, so I would agree with you there. That was, you could have taken some of those games and changed them a bit and it would have affected it all. But now...
Could you not say the same thing about certain games today? Like, especially, the Grand Theft Autos and the...
Well, you could, but because we've got such this really artistic period in computer games, I'm getting really deep in computer game up here. You've got your journeys and you've got your sound shapes, which I was just discussing with you the other day. Yeah. And you've got so many games that have got no violence, and it's, some are beautiful games. It's like pieces of art. So in that respect, you've got that story. And yes, but the GTAs now, where before it was just violence for violence sake, now it's very much, this is the story. And without the violence, it wouldn't be the same story. For example, for people who have played GTA 5 with Trevor, unless there's a bit at the beginning that at first I was like, well, there's no need to, without spoiling anything, he kills some guy, or at least we think he kills some guy. He really, damages some guy in a cutscene as well. But that is to get a point across of how deranged that character is. And that does play into the end of the game. That story that does carry forward. And there is bits, yes, you can sleep with prostitutes and stuff like that. But then the same can be said, and I'm not saying it's all right because of this, but the same can be said with films. I mean, if a character sleeps with a prostitute in a film, I just watched True Detective, and one of the characters, there's a sex scene. Well, couldn't they just went in the bedroom together and closed the door? And you kind of get the idea. But
and the line between computer games and films has become incredibly blurred over the last
computer game
5 years. Computer game designers are becoming. Some of them are becoming auteurs. They're wanting an emotional. We talked about Journey and stuff last week, or the week before. Computer games are looking for an emotional response from the viewer, and therefore the things that you're saying, make sense. You can put these things in for a certain emotional impact. Yeah. However, I think it's still. I think whilst there are certain situations like the one you mentioned where you can say, well, that scene's there to make this plot line work. There are many more situations where things are just done because they can, or because, take for example, you mentioned kind of sex scenes and stuff. Sex scenes in movies and TV, like, you don't need them.
No, you don't.
Like you said, any sex scene, with a few perhaps exceptions where, it's kind of a character-based thing. There's no films at all, or very few films at all, TV programs, where you actually need a sex scene and it would change anything at all. But it's in there for titillation because people like to see them. People like to see beautiful actors and actresses naked, and it's kind of there because at the end of the day, people like to watch it. And I guess the same goes for the kind of violence. People enjoy playing computer games because they are violent in many cases. But if that is the case, then I think questions probably do need to be asked about what the suitability of it. I'm honestly not trying to be a killjoy on this one because I'm aware I'm kind of taking the more cautious tone on it, but I don't think it's an argument that you can just kind of turn around and say, well, it's the parents' fault because they're letting them play it. I think it's more complex than that.
It is, but at the same time as, it is 2015. I was at a friend's, Mrs. Spud's friend's birthday barbecue, and there was another couple there, and they started talking to me, and they didn't know anything about me. They just friendly went, you're thingy's dad. And I was like, yep. And we got into the conversation about he's always on his Xbox One and all this stuff, and I was like, right, okay. And then Mrs. Spud went, he knows all about his computer games. So they started talking to me, and they said about 4 or 5 times during the conversation, and we have no idea what's going on. He's there talking to people, and I literally went, what? And I'm probably known as the douchebag now. Don't invite the douchebag back to our parties, okay? Because he's going to lecture us on how to bring up our children. I more or less said to them, look, if your kid's going to do that, you really need to know what's going on, and you should just familiarize yourself. There's loads of videos on YouTube, what to look out for, and all this kind of stuff. And not just people talking to people, because I allow my 7-year-old to go to play games that I vet very carefully, and he's not allowed to talk to anyone online. He's not allowed on the online options.
But you're a gamer. Yes, you can do that because you're an expert in it. Whereas other parents, you can't expect every parent to be an expert in it, to have the same kind of knowledge of this is right, this is wrong, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable.
I know, but if they're going to let their child onto a computer game or onto a computer game system, they should do a little bit of research. It is their child. They are responsible for a human being.
This is one reason why you could praise Nintendo, because
the family, yeah.
Nintendo famously didn't allow any kind of voice chat or even any kind of text chat in many of their games, and people have slated them for it. People complained about it. People have said it's damaged the community, yada yada yada. But I know if I buy my daughter a Nintendo console and a Nintendo game, if there's not a 15 rating on the box, I know she's safe.
Yeah, I completely agree. And
I think that actually Nintendo, rather than being slated for that, should actually be congratulated for creating something where not less computer game savvy parents can go, I don't have to sit behind my kids' shoulders all the time. They can just have that and they're going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason I got a Wii U. So I thought, right, family games, bring the family into gaming. We really have to get Wii U because it's got all the games, every one of their major games are family friendly. You got, Mario 3D World, and you got Mario Kart 8, and you got all these things. You don't have to worry about someone getting their head chopped off. I think Luigi gives someone a dirty look in the new Mario Kart, but that's the extent of it. It's like that's it, man.
Other than the whole, rockets up the arse and things like that.
I know, but they don't ever kill anyone. They just make you flip in the air, land, and go,
blown up.
If only the world was like that. Yesterday there was a big terror attack and lots of people went, oh no, it's blowing up, and went home. No one died. The world would be a better place. Anyway, Eddie.
Is it my go?
Hit me with your discussion right in the face.
Okay, well, obviously I had a new graphics card delivered today.
Oh, did you? I haven't heard anything about it.
And I installed the new graphics card myself. And it got me thinking that I don't know how much you're aware of this, I've been watching it, but the IT curriculum in British schools has changed massively about a year ago. And it's affecting things like the new year 7s and the year 8s, which is about 13, 14-year-olds, and it's slowly going to work its way up. Because when I did IT in school, IT was basically, this is how you use a word processor, this is how you make a spreadsheet,
Yes.
this is how you make a PowerPoint. And those are actually really useful skills. I'm not denying those as useful skills. And I'd even say those are essential skills. But I don't really think that's IT. And the government in British government has now agreed, and the whole curriculum has shifted. And so what the kids are now going to be learning to do in IT is essentially build PCs and to code and to to make basic games, to make basic kind of programs functionality, to understand a bit of kind of programming language, to know what the different things inside the piece are doing, to make sure that they're not just IT literate in terms of being able to use a few bits of software, but they're IT literate in that they actually understand the technology. And I think what's going to happen is that IT is going to become a GCSE option. Because what happened at the moment is that IT is compulsory, which is supposed to be the basic skills of word processing and stuff now, but instead it's going to become an option. So everyone, a bit like musical drama, everyone does it up to kind of like 14 years old. And then if you want to become a specialist in it, you pick it at GCSE and you become an expert in it. And I want to know what you think.
I think it's brilliant. And there's two quick stories. Number one, again, my said 7-year-old, he was at school one day and he come home and I was like, oh, well, actually, I got in from work and I was like, oh, you all right, darling? How you doing? Yeah, Dad, I'm all right. Oh, yeah. Oh, how was school? Yeah, good. Did some coding, made a game. Oh, that's good. Say what? What did you? What? You made a game? What? I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, well, you didn't actually make the game. And he went, yeah, I made a cat, and it had to catch a mouse, and it was in a big red background. I chose in the end. And I was like, what? So that parents' evening, Mrs. Spud was all like, oh, so how's his English and his maths? And I was like, yeah, whatever. Did he make a game? Just jumping around the side. Game. So yeah, the fact I didn't know what you just said, like the option to take it as an expert. I think that's brilliant. And another reason I think this is brilliant, so going on a big rant, sorry to completely take over your topic. I went for a little family day the other day, and it was a open air museum.
Sorry, how disappointing.
Oh, no, it was actually quite fun. There was a little 1950s house, and I went in there, and it really reminded me of Fallout, and that's when I realised I've actually got a problem with computer games. Anyway, it was like, I don't want to say the
Did you open the fridge and hope that there'd be a squirrel on a stick inside?
Where's my sugar bombs, damn it? Anyway, yeah, so as I was doing it, a bottle cap. Yeah, I'll give you this bottle cap for your sugar bomb. There was loads of traditions through the years of, like you had candle snuffers, and obviously things like that. Technology comes along and gets rid of so many jobs that you really need to be involved in technology. And, it hit me the other day, like, obviously, I didn't want my son to go and be a candle snuffer in 1920. But yeah, I think this is brilliant. I think it's looking forward, and it's very, very sensible. And it's cool. I want my son to be like a cool computer engineering, clever mofo. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm very excited about it.
I think it's good. And I mean, the government, obviously being a teacher, and I think everyone kind of has a tendency to moan about their bosses. And there's lots of things that the government's done in education that I'm less keen on, and what they're doing to my subject, I don't like at all. But I think it's good to praise things when you do agree with the changes. And I think that's one that is good. I feel bad for the IT teachers though, because there's a lot of IT teachers who were amazing at Word and Excel and PowerPoint that have all of a sudden gone, what? I'm teaching, what? Because,
so you want me to do sales?
There will be a lot of teachers that don't actually have that skill set, and yet they're IT teachers, and basically they're now being told, oh, this is what you're teaching, and they're going to have to go and become beyond experts in those topics. And it's expensive for schools as well, because they have to, obviously, for the kids to be able to build PCs, they need to have those parts kind of available and things. So there are downsides, but I think the upsides, it's something that's worth investing in.
Yeah, you can have a generation of people that know what they're doing with computers and the aspects. Once you know what you're doing with a computer, like in and out with a computer, you're not going to ever be in a position where you can't get a job, because computers are here to stay now, I think, until, like Stephen Hawking said, they take over the world and annihilate us.
I think I like the fact, I think if everyone had to take it all the way through to GCSE, I think I'd complain about it, because I would say, well, not everyone needs to know how to build a PC, not everyone needs to know how to code, but I think it's good that everyone has basic introduction to it, and then if you want to specialize in it, you can. I think that's a really important bit because, because we still need carpenters, plumbers, accountants, lawyers, doctors, policemen. Not everyone needs to be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone needs that option. Anyway, to you.
Well,
you were going to tell me about SummerSlam. I've been looking forward to a SummerSlam conversation. You got
wrestling. Yeah, well, as you and me know, we do have a few listeners that we know like a bit of wrestling. As do we, really. We are wrestling nerds as well as.
Are we talking about a euphemism here, or do we mean actual wrestling?
Like me and you when we get in our pants and we, and wrestle.
You said you wouldn't mention.
I lied. Now everyone knows our love of pants. Anyway.
Do you remember when I put one of your exes in the sharpshooter?
Yes, I do. Do you remember the time when we were much, much, much younger that you went to pole drive someone, like playfully pole drive, not really like parallels pole drive, and you punched them in the toe and they went outside and they looked cry. That was funny as well.
Oh God, I remember that. They punched me in the toe. Yeah,
they punched you, and then you went in the garden.
Oh God, they punched me so hard in the toe. Oh dear God, yeah. Oh, I'd forgotten about that incident. Oh, that hurt so much. Yeah, I went to playfully pole drive them, but not actually do it, and they just went bam on my toe. So I had to go and sit down. Oh, I think I think I tapped myself out at that point.
I've always wanted to see like a big main event, like John Cena against Undertaker, WrestleMania, something like that. Punches the other in the toe, and the other one goes, "No, that's it. I'm out. I'm done, man. My toe's really sore. Damn it, son of a."
I've got no problem with wrestling being fake or whatever phrases words you use, because for me wrestling it's like a movie, it's like a TV, it's a plot line, it's a soap opera, it's something you get behind, it's something you get excited behind. It's quite clearly not real, but it's athletic, it's dramatic, it's great entertainment. But it's little incidents like that where I can get punched in the foot once and I'm out. That makes you kind of look at these matches where they punch each other for the 50th time, take a suplex off the top rope, get kicked in the face 18 times, and they're still begging for more. That makes you kind of go, I think we can be fairly certain. How did people not know this wasn't?
But then again, John Cena a couple of days ago got his nose was sticking out of his eye or something horrific like that. I don't know how is my nose sticking out of my eye? I don't. But he's going to be in a proper match on Sunday. But so what I wanted to do was run through the card and hear your predictions.
I know you love little lists.
Oh my God, I love lists. I keep making all these lists and I go, "Hey Addy, can I read out this list on the show?" And you're like, "No."
Can I just ask people to make sure to follow and subscribe and to regularly download our podcast before you get to your lists? And if you need to skip ahead, there's probably a little like drag bar at the bottom.
Right, so
just me, baby.
Just skip forward here. Right, so the first match, what is being pitted as the main event is The Undertaker against Brock Lesnar. Which is
Suplex City.
Which is mainly becoming a thing of that Undertaker seems to be targeting Brock Lesnar's testicles and then tombstoning him. And that seems. Yeah, well, he showed up again on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, I haven't read the results. I haven't.
And yeah, he showed up behind him, gong, kicked him in the nuts, chokeslammed him, power drived him, tombstoned him. And there's even GIFs now going around where it shows someone's put Brock Lesnar's head. I retweeted it. Brock Lesnar's head over, the really old guy in The Simpsons. Really, where am I? That guy, not the grandpa. Not Grandpa Simpson. The other one, the mole.
The mole.
The mole man. Yeah. There's a bit where someone kicks a football right in his nads and he falls over.
Yeah.
So they put the Undertaker's face over the football and Brock Lesnar's face over the old man, and they've just got that playing over and over. So that, and when he did that, because I think it was in Brock Lesnar's hometown, the last Raw, Undertaker got booed. Boo! I do like a good boo.
Oh yeah, you gotta love a good boo.
Yeah, it's changed the dynamic. So prediction. Hit me with your prediction. Go for it.
I think it's a difficult one because this is one of those things where you got to, and it's a problem where because I mentioned whether wrestling being kind of fake and entertainment and things, but this is one of those things where the line between entertainment and reality kind of blurs, because on the entertainment side you want to kind of go, well, Brock's younger and he's fitter, the Undertaker's really, really old, but he's half dead. The Undertaker's looking out for revenge, so he's got this kind of like desire to I've got to avenge my defeat. On the other side, Brock's going to be really pissed off about his testicles. So you've got that kind of emotional side of it, but then you've also got the kind of like, as a wrestling fan, to step back and kind of go, well, what's the sensible option for the company to choose at this point? Is Brock more marketable? Will Brock be here longer? Will it destroy the Undertaker's mystique? So you've got all these kind of conflicting issues. So let me just let me just go completely kayfabe, which means going completely within the plotline for a second. I just love him so much. I have to say, I want Brock to win. I love dominant Brock. There has been so many great matches over the last 2 years where Brock just being unbeatable has made outstanding matches unforgettable. And, you know, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania,
SummerSlam, John Cena.
The SummerSlam John Cena one. You know, Brock is at his absolute best when he has this unbeatable mystique. And I don't want The Undertaker to take that away. I want Brock to be, as a wrestling fan, I want Brock to be unbeatable. And sure, let's have a competitive match. Let's have shortcuts. Let's have The Undertaker work the bollocks.
That's what I want. I want a match where he scientifically wears down the penis. slowly but surely works down the penis. You know, he gets in a little camel clutch.
Testicular claw. And
then he gets in a single crab behind, works it down, rest hold. Maybe like dueling arm bars, but with the penis.
Yeah.
all these kind of things. And then possibly gets it in the
like a hammerlock of the testicle.
The hammerlock. And then gets in the Hell's Gate. So he's like, you know, he's dangling over with his legs up, pulling it. Oh, got that penis. And then, you know, Brock screaming to Paul outside, Paul, my dick, Paul. Oh, my little chap. Oh, my God. But no, seriously. Right, I'm going to go the opposite side.
Speaking of penis, just for a second. Sorry to interrupt. Have you seen the Lenny Kravitz penis incident?
No, I saw it. I didn't watch it. It was a video, and it said, his penis fell out while he was singing. And I scrolled past because I don't really want to see Lenny Kravitz's penis. I've heard the legends. Don't get me wrong.
No, I feel bad.
You heard about his penis?
No, I feel bad that I watched it. It's hilarious. I just don't think it can be real, but I don't know. It's so funny.
It's literally an urban legend at this point. Oh, please can we name this episode of the podcast Lenny Kravitz penis? Episode 004, Lenny Kravitz penis.
Not unless we have a full-on discussion on it, but it's hilarious. He does this little guitar solo. He does that kind of like head wiggly thing that he kind of does while he's kind of playing. He ducks down really low. His trousers split. He stands up, and as he stands up, you get this little, well, not little. You get this extra, but it can easily be faked. It can easily be photoshopped. But maybe it's not. I don't know. Apparently he's commented on it. But then again, the whole story could be wrong. Anyway, sorry. Moving on from penis. Who do you want to win?
I don't know. I don't know who I want because I do hold a little bit of love for the Undertaker still. He's awesome. But again, I agree with you. Brock is just so brilliant. Just comes in the ring and just, you know, Vince must say like, no, it's PG. Don't say any swear words. Gets to the ring. Suplex City, bitch. It's like, what are you doing? But then they try and turn it around into a little t-shirt and stuff. But even the fact of the company, when you think about it, it's like a clean loss for either of them would be very damaging for either man. Undertaker would losing, and I think Paul Heyman as well in the promo before he came out and got Brock's penis. He said, you've never, ever beaten Brock. You're not going to beat Brock this time. And so even bringing up their past matches, you know, the Hell in a Cell one they had when he was biker, taker and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was an article on WWE that actually had links to the old matches you could see, or you could see like little clips from them.
And he's never beaten him, so they brought that up. That's great. But I think a loss for either of them would destroy either one's mystique. So I'm going to go dirty win by The Undertaker.
The problem is that the match started, because the easy way out for the company is to have a screwy ending.
Which I think is going to happen.
But the problem with the screwy ending is that this match kind of started because of a screwy ending, because that was their way out of the Seth Rollins match. And they've got to be careful, because you know, WCW eventually got destroyed by screwy endings, because people just got fed up with, you know, the
screw job, double turn,
the screw jobs, the double turn,
double swerves,
you know, the Eric Bischoff type stuff. But cool. Are there any other interesting matches on the card?
There's Randy Orton against Sheamus, which I don't really care about because I've already watched it twice or a million times. So I'm going to randomly pick Randy Orton because Sheamus has the Money in the Bank. There's John Cena against Seth Rollins, which interesting promo just gone by. They've spoke about John Cena spoke
for the titles.
That's for both titles. So whoever wins gets the last title. John Cena brought up the fact that Triple H really doesn't want him to win because Ric Flair handpicked him to beat his title number of titles he's held, and he's ready to overtake it or at least equal it, isn't it? Isn't he just about to become 16, same as Ric Flair or something? It's very close anyway.
Very high. But the world's a different place. I think the numbers are
But he's brought that up as well, so that could be interesting. But I'm going to go, I don't know, all logic says Cena, but I'm going to go for Seth. Dolph against Rusev, I don't really care.
Oh, God, it's not the whole woman thing, is it?
Yeah, it's the woman in each corner match, and I'm sure someone will get low blowed in that match as well.
Women's wrestling, I think, women's wrestling, like as in matches between women, is at a real high point right now. The NXT thing has been amazing, and people like Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, who obviously has gone now, and others have really, really raised it. But where women's wrestling is still at its absolute lowest is where they're used as props and random feud starters, because it's just so unrealistic. I mean, we've joked about this before in the past, but like, who waits for a wrestling match to sort out their love life?
It's true.
Do I love him? Do I not? Shall I date him? Shall I not? I tell you what, if you beat him in a wrestling match, then I fancy you.
I think all things like that. I'm waiting to, someday in the future that I hear about a job interview taking place like that. Right, where we both like both you candidates for the job as assistant manager of the area. But what we want is you two to have actually a wrestling match. Yeah. So whichever one you can pin the others for 3 counts. Not relevant to the job, you understand. But, if you could just do it. And if we could maybe make some money out of selling the rights for the show. Please. So I don't really care. And I don't know who's going to win. Rusev's been on a losing streak. Dolph has just re-signed, so possibly him.
I couldn't care less.
Yeah, I mean, really. What else do we have? We have the big tag. Oh, no, hang on. Before that, we have the triple threat match that was delayed and now is back on. Big Show, Ryback, The Miz for the Intercontinental title.
I thought Miz was very entertaining with his little promo and stuff, but Miz, for me, as soon as he gets into the ring, he's just a glorified squash boy, and you can count Big Show's good matches on the fingers of one finger. That's not fair. He has had some good matches, but I don't think this is going to be it. Next,
we've got Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper against Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns.
Oh, that could be very, very good. I mean,
that could be very good.
The Shield Wyatt family matches.
Yeah, so I don't even know. They could go either way.
I don't think the crowd's going to be there because, the crowd were amazing. I think it was No Way Out last year, No Way Out 2014, something like that.
Yeah, but lots of people love Dean. Oh, so many people love a bit of Dean. I'm going to randomly pick Luke Harper and Bray.
I don't mind who wins that one, but I'm looking that's a match I would love to see.
And a match that could be very entertaining because they just keep being entertaining recently, and even though they shouldn't do. So you've got a fatal 4-way between basically all the tag teams in the WWE.
Oh, tell me New Day's in it.
New Day's in it.
Yeah!
Yeah! And you got the Primetime Players, and you got the Ultimate Dragon guys, and everyone's in that. But I'm just hoping for the Primetime Players because they're just very funny.
Yeah, the New Day and the Primetime Players. I mean, because we always various wrestling websites, and ProWrestling.net and Power Slam is always very hard on the Primetime Players and says they're not funny, they're wasting my time. I think they're hilarious.
I do as well, and they're getting better. I mean, they are wrestling very, very well. They
do the whole big guy, little guy thing really, really well. And then the New Day is the same thing. They've got the whole big guy with Big E who is funny, and you've got that annoying guy out the side of the ring who just never shuts up. I mean, the matches, they've got that perfect combination now of the matches are becoming better and better as they get better and better. You've got real personalities there. You've got proper faces, proper heels. I mean, that should be really good, especially if you've got the little dragon guys in there as well.
It's going to be entertaining. It's definitely going to be because they're getting better and better.
I think you could have. I mean, maybe I'm going way out on a limb here, and people can go no. But remember the last golden age of tag team wrestling, where you had Dudleys, Hardys, Edge and Christian. And then there was the whole Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit bit. There was Edge and Rey Mysterio. There's been a few little the Guerreros. I know it was 2 separate eras, but I think there's a bunch of teams, either Usos and WWE right now. I think there's a bunch of teams that, with just given a little bit more personality, we could be heading for another really good one. The Usos need a bit more personality, but New Day's got personality. The Dragons have got amazing movesets. The Primetime Players are really funny. I think we could be heading for something really, really good here. Please don't screw up.
But the problem I've got with it, the one problem I can pick out is that you keep bunching them all together and having the same match with all the teams in it. I think they need to think a bit long term and maybe spread it out a bit. But yeah, apart from that, I'd agree with you.
Do some singles and ladder match here and there.
Now we've got the one that you don't care about, and I thought, because I'm a big fan of Arrow, Stephen Amell, which is Arrow, or Green Arrow, and Adrian Neville against, it's just changed the screen on me, Stardust and King Barrett, which I just hope he comes down with a bow and arrow and shoots someone. Is that too much to ask? If he could come down and go, you failed the city. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but other people listening to this that watch Arrow get what's going on.
I'll get excited if you can name me, other than Hulk Hogan and Mr.
Oh, no, hang on. This
one
is
good celebrity
that.
involvement.
Said apart from those, oh, damn. Another good celebrity match. Dennis Rodman.
No.
And Hulk Hogan against Karl Malone and Diamond Dallas Page.
No. Look, let me list you some crap celebrity involvement matches. Anything with David Arquette. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor. That thing with Jay Leno. What WWE had some crap ones?
Mayweather, Big Show.
Oh, that was good. Oh, okay. Mayweather Big Show was good. But Mayweather Big Show was very good. But Mayweather Big Show wasn't an actor. That was two sports people going on.
True.
I hope you enjoy it.
If he doesn't come out as Green Arrow, I'll be very disappointed. And the match that could steal the whole show, we have Kevin Owens against Cesaro. Now, I'm hoping they don't put that on like a pre-show special, some rubbish, because that could easily steal the show. Easily, hands down.
It would need time, though. Much as they said SummerSlam is 4 hours.
It's 4 hours, man.
Is there not a women? It's not a women's match. A proper women's match.
Oh, have I missed one out? Hang on, I'm just skipping through. If you want to
Because when they go the whole new age women's wrestling, with the Bella Twins and all that kind of stuff.
So I'm on the official website and it's giving me like big photos through for a single match. Team Bella against Team Bad. So we got everyone in Team Bella against BAD. So you got all the members of each faction basically, and there seems to be a lot more for Team Bella than there is. So that could be good. Again, I think there's too many people. You're pushing too many people into one thing. Apart from spreading it, you need to spread it and think about the long picture.
Yeah, I think they need to be more into singles, because the multi-man stuff is a good way of kind of introducing lots of people quickly, but it doesn't introduce them very well.
Yes.
Right, we've got about 5 minutes left, so time for a couple of questions.
Right, cool. So, hang on. Do you want to why don't you plug all our stuff while I'm getting the questions up?
If you are not following the podcast yet, then please do so. If you're watching it currently on Twitch, then thank you so much. But if you could please follow us on Audio Boom and or iTunes as well, we would really appreciate it to help us grow. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed today's show and you want to give us any feedback, that'd be great. We're about to do a couple of questions, and if you could send us some questions or some ideas, we'd gladly do that in future weeks. Both myself and Spud have YouTube and Twitch channels, and you can catch us in there. And we'd really appreciate it if you followed the SpudAdi Twitter, because Spud spends a lot of time trying to put out some entertaining things on there, and we'd love to kind of interact with you and generally increase our community. And of course, if you have any friends that listens to podcast, obviously our podcast is quite new, so please could you suggest to them that they may maybe give it a listen and help us grow. We would appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Addy. Right, so first question from Mist on Twitter. What's your favourite, or if you can't decide on one, name a few mentionable, favourite animated movie?
Beauty and the Beast.
Disney?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if it's the best, and I don't know if it stood the test of time, but it's almost like a musical. It's, there's so much music in it, but the really, really good quality ones. And it's got that thing where, obviously, because I do a lot of music kind of stuff, the music's so good that you get the little themes and the little bits of music kind of just crop up all the way kind of through it, and you get like repeated motifs. If some of you who are music people will know what I'm kind of talking about, but it's just really, really, really well done. And the plot's good, the characters are very memorable, it's funny, it's emotive. That bit at the end where the beast dies and then the rose petal falls. It gets
spoilers.
It gets me every freaking time, that bit, every freaking time, and then the magic starts happening, and it's like, even though I know it's going to happen, it still gets me every time. There's probably been better movies since, and there's things like the Toy Stories are incredible, the Incredibles were incredible, and things like that. But just in terms of like special place in my heart and amazing quality, Beauty and the Beast.
Cool, good. That's definitely my top 10. I'm gonna. I don't know. This is really hard. I've got 3, and if I had to pick on the spot, I would say Spirited Away, which was Oscar winning, I think, by legendary.
The Japanese one.
Yeah, very good story. It took me by surprise. I wasn't really involved in anime that much back then, but then when I watched it, I was like, wow, this is really good. So I love that. I'd probably have to just give that the tip, so to speak.
Without spoilers, like what kind of is it like an adventure, a comedy, a musical? Is it a kids' film even?
I don't know, because I watched it with a very my 7-year-old. I watched it when he was very young with him, without knowing that much about it, and he was a bit scared of it. But it's it's a little girl's journey into a fantasy world, and she's got stuff to do without spoiling the thing, and it's heartwarming. It's a bit scary at times. It's very good, very very, and it's very pretty and beautiful and stuff like that as well. It's very very good. But
I love the way that the recent Disney movies, by recent I mean say the last 20 years probably, and especially Pixar, really have raised the bar for animated.
Oh yeah,
like which now if you go and see a Pixar movie, with the exception I think of Cars 2, you're almost guaranteed.
Yeah, thank you. God, that was terrible.
Something very very good, which is good, and I think it's good to have companies around that are producing such good things. But of course, the more movies you have, the more misfires you have. Like Shrek 3 wasn't very good, and yada 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 things like that. We've got about 2 minutes left.
Really quickly, special mention to Aladdin, which is awesome, and The Incredibles, which it was very hard to pick. So, very last question before we go: which books are you into by Steph L? What is your favourite type, etc.?
I love Terry Pratchett. I'm very very sad he's gone, and I don't want to get into kind of the death element again, as we did there before. But I love Terry Pratchett books. The way he comments, the way it's kind of they're fantasy based, but he's actually talking about real modern day kind of society, and you kind of see yourself in the troll. Which is all kinds of weird, and he's very clever, very amusing. And I don't read that much, to be honest. I would like to read more, but then again, there's also lots of other computer games that I have to play, and I don't actually watch that much TV, and I don't read that many books because I'm mainly a gamer. But it's something I reckon. When you look back at the end of your life and you kind of go, "Man, I wish I'd done X, Y, Z." I think I would have liked to have read more. But Pratchett's, I love Pratchett's.
Yes, I like fantasy stuff like you as well. I currently reading skullduggery books. They're kind of like the same flavour as Harry Potter, but I do like a good murder mystery detective-y story, and one of the ones that stand out with that is the Hannibal series. So Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal. Not the prequel. I didn't like that one, but the books, those 3 books, I really did. I tried to get Lord of the Rings. Not my cup of tea. Like the films, but not the books. But definitely my favourite book trilogy is probably the Hannibal trilogy. I did really really enjoy that.
Books are very. I find. I agree. We should. In fact, we should probably talk about this next episode. We're literally going to finish in like 60 seconds. But books stimulate your imagination in which ways computer games don't, which never quite works for me logically, but it is very very true, because you'd think with having the world in front of you, being able to see the adventure, being part of the adventure, you'd think that computer games would get your mind going, but actually it's not. It's books make you create a world in your head far more than computer games do. But that's a topic for another time, because we have to finish.
Oh,
Time goes so fast when we get together, dude.
That was episode 4. Time is flying.
Of SpudAdi. Thank you so much for listening on our little SpudAdi lights. And please, if I could reiterate, please recommend us to your friends. Please follow and give us your feedback. Follow us on Twitter and things like that. Is that the end of it?
Yes, also I professionalism. Yeah, you can find us on iTunes and all good podcast providers such as Podkicker and anything. And if you can't find us, I think you can stick our thing in there if you want us on your.
Maybe we should have like one of those like recommendation things, like recommend us to your friends, and if they listen to it, we'll give you some sort of bonus, like a signed Spud mug,
a signed potato,
signed potato, and a signed fat cell. Yes, we'll get back to you on that one. For now, thank you very much for watching, and here is the ever catchy earworm of the SpudAdi theme tune. SpudAdi, you spud and I'm Addy. Just listen, you'll glisten, cause you'll be so happy. Our podcast is random talk on this and on that. But what did you expect from potatoes and fat? Yeah, what did you expect from potatoes and fat? All right, boys and girls, just before we properly disappear into the moonlight, we really do need a few more questions, please.